Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone? I hope everyone had a good night's rest. And if you just did not work somewhere else in the world, good night, good evening. I appreciate you all. We're gonna start with the African proverb. Um, Again, this book is written by Iyanla Vanzant, and it is it was published in the 90s. I got it when it first came out. All right. Um, Little tidbit. Um, I think Ayala had just really gained her notoriety in the public. She had published a couple other books prior to this one, and she actually came to my hometown and to a church that was like down the street from me. It was like it felt like destiny because I had purchased the book, one of her books, and I really enjoyed it, and it really, really set me on my path to connecting with my heritage. Um, and so, just as I was closing out that book, it was announced that she was coming um, to do a talk at a church that was, like I say, down the street from me, and there she introduced that this that she had this new book coming out, and I got it. Anyway, September 12th, it says, when the law of an eye for an eye operates, all the people will end up blind. You simply cannot pay anyone back for something they did to you. Look for the reason and move on. If a man treats you badly, rejects you, abandons you, abuses, or disrespects you, you cannot hold all men accountable. Look for the lesson and move on. If your ex wife took your money, lied to you, neglected your children and your home, it does not mean no woman can be trusted. Look for the lesson and move on. If some white people are racist, some black people thieves, some intellectual people condescending, some uneducated people lazy, some light people uppity, some dark people ignorant, it does not give you the right or the authority to treat all people who look the same or act the same any way you choose based on your past experiences. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What can I do this time that I did not do before? If there is nothing, simply move on. I am doing the best I can right now. Yes, I am doing the best I can right now. Hmm. All right. So I see. Sorry about that. I guess that was confirmation. um. So where it goes, I'm gonna say this because I speak on this all the time. It says, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? That is a practice of mine. Um, that I incorporate in everything I do when it comes to like when especially when I feel like it's there's a clusterfuck of things happening, and you know instead of asking why me, because for real, why not you? You know what I mean? The cliche where people say, oh, everything happened for a reason. It really does. Everything is working for your greater good. we have to go through challenges as humans on this planet. That's what we're here for. Earth is a school, a school of ascension. And believe it or not, well, I'm going to say this. Yeah, believe it or not, it is my understanding that that's what we come here to do, the evolution of our soul. Your soul cannot evolve if it doesn't have experiences. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be tried and true. You got to go through things. You can't learn everything vicariously. Some things are just lost in translation. When you're just speaking on stuff, like you can't speak on things and wholeheartedly from a place of knowing if you don't experience it. And and so it is my understanding that when we come here and we experience things, we upload the lessons, the information back to the void, from which all consciousness comes from. And so we have the next generation. We're trying to improve the will, you know. So again, you say you get you come into a jam or a trying situation, and that things are gonna be hard. Not always. Even rich people, we like to think that money's gonna fix everything. Money can't fix everything. If the soul is broken, if yeah, if the soul is broken, let's say this, everything can stand a little improvement. You know what I mean? So when you go through stuff, don't get try to get out of the habit of saying why me, because why me is not going to help you move past it. Ask yourself, what is this situation here to teach me? Or what can I learn from the situation? Because that's when things open up and you can move on. Okay? All right. So, all right. We got 3 already. Now, this came out. I don't even know why I got this in there. I think I put this in there as a representation of something tribal. All right. And then we have a snowflake. And here is Leo. So Leo could represent a fire sign. It can represent strength, um, courage, maybe. All right. This snowflake, I could see this as it wanting to say winter season, isolation, because, in the winter, you tend to go and you stay in, so you're isolated. Um, it could also mean something unique, because they say no two snowflakes are alike. And I could say tribal here. But let's see. Let me just see something. We're just gonna go with that. But let's look for Tribal definition. Okay. It says tribal means the state of being organized or activate or advocating for. Hmm. Oh, look. It says the state of being organized by or advocating for. Okay, it says human evolution primarily occur, human human evolution primarily occurred in small hunter gathered groups as opposed to larger and more recently settled agriculture society. That's not really what I thought. But anyway, what drew my attention to it was human evolution. All right. So, seems like this is saying you got this something about something being unique, tribal, and strength. All right. All right. So I said I was still doing the medicine woman. I was gonna do the medicine woman all week. So I'm gonna go back with it. And we're gonna see what comes out. All right. What would you like us to know about this? And again, we have this tribal emblem, snowflake, which I said could represent something unique. And this Leo medallion could be strength or courage, something that stands out, something bold. Yeah. I feel like something wants to come out. Okay. It didn't quite, so I'm going to leave it. One more shuffle. All right, Spirit, what you want us to know about these medallions? Oh, that was way too many. Like half the deck flipped over. Okay, well, I'm going to pull it. I'm just going to let y'all see because, okay. And again, you got the snowflake, the Leo medallion, and the tribal. But what flipped out? It says feminine cycle, embrace, healing, family lines, and coyote totem. All right, this is what we got. It says feminine cycle. Reconnect with your cycle. You are a plural woman. It says embrace. Remember your primordial nature. You are a vessel. So that's 9 and 10, y'all. Then we got 30. It says healing family ties. Free yourself from secrets. Discover the hidden treasure of your heritage. And 16 is coyote totem. Show humor and laughter in your medicine. That's no okay, I did say it's number 16. All right. So based on the cards and this emblem, I think it's speaking on somebody that has a unique gift. All right, with this snowflake. And a snowflake, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Okay. Anyway, the snowflake, like I said, is like unique. So when I say you were a part of a tribe, we all have our own unique um, thing to accomplish, a task to accomplish on this planet. And, you know, and we are born, to tribes. You know, there's a tribe, if you want to say, like, there are some people who come here to heal. We all come here to heal, but we all have our own unique um, set of gifts, you know. And I think spirit is asking us to embrace it and, have courage. And because it says, show your humor and laughter in your medicine, so if we all have our own unique way, like I say, it's like the hand. We all got fingerprints on the hand, right? But each fingerprint is different. And if you want to say this hand opposed to this hand, this is a tribe and this is a tribe. You understand? So, but within the tribe, you got different fingerprints. All right. So, if this is a tribe and this is a fingerprint, you know, collectively, the hand can pick up an object, you know what I'm saying? And pick it up and move it to, another location. See what I'm saying? The hand works together. I could move this box anywhere I need it to be. And so I think, because it says the feminine cycle, reconnect with your cycle. And it says you are a plural woman. I think this might be speaking to a collective of the divine feminine. And I don't want to say like, I don't want you to feel like when I say divine feminine, we all have uh, divine feminine attributes. We may not all be working out of that energy right now, but that's part of the healing. That energy is accessible to all, even the men, you know, because we also have divine masculine energy as well. You, we are plural. It says we are a plural woman. Um, and here I believe it represents so much. It's such a broad statement. When you say we're a plural woman, we're more than just the woman. Like I said, we both we gotta have balance in everything. If you look at a battery has a plus and a negative. If you look at the plus side is being the woman, and the negative being a man. But when you put a battery inside a flashlight, it takes both to bring forth the light. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we're being called to, as a collective tribe, you know. And again, this breaks down, but find your tribe, your soul group, if you want to call it that. Because it says healing family lines. Free yourself from secrets, discover the hidden treasure of your heritage. So collect, because this can break down in your life as your own personal heritage, but But since this is a collective reading, I'm going to say this is to a divine feminine uh, call to duty, so to speak. I made a reading a couple months ago, and it spoke to something similar to this, that divine feminines, that energy, that frequency is opened up. And there are multiple of us waking up and coming online to that frequency that's been transmitted, where it had been blocked for so long, by the quote unquote powers that be. They put all these counter signals out, and to follow an old program. But now those signals are fading to the back, and with all the planets um, shifting the way they have, the divine feminine frequency has gotten louder. And so it's asking us to come together as a tribe, and again, like I want to say, how they say, a dream within a dream within a dream, a tribe within a tribe within a tribe. It breaks down like, okay, this is the hand, but it broke down in fingers. You know what I'm saying? So we all belong to, we're all part of the whole. But when we break it down, each finger has its own separate thing or task or purpose. Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah. So Spirit is saying you are a plural woman. Um, we all belong to a collective of divine feminine, but we're being asked to remember your primordial nature, and your primordial nature is a femininity, the divine femininity. Um, you're a channel for this healing, and if you're out there wondering what can you do to what's the part that you play in this role of healing, you know because again, we're all working for the collective. You are not just here to raise your children and be a good wife and good mother. You have a job to do. You didn't come here to be pussyfooting around. Excuse my French. You came here. You didn't come here to to live a not only, I mean, to live a fancy lifestyle, to you know and collect things and people and places. That's not what you're here for. We are here to raise collective consciousness for the next generation of humans that are going to become the next stewards on the planet, of the planet, next caretakers of the planet. And so every time we learn through our experiences, that's uploaded for the next generation to get. Have you ever thought about when you say, like, if you notice, those kids that was born through COVID, they came out uh looking like they got some superpowers. Some of the kids was coming out the womb grown as hell. And I'm not just saying grown, but like they knew shit. They know shit. Every time it gets better and better. And that's because the more the experiences we have, the more we learn, and the further consciousness develops. All right. And so we're being asked to embrace you, embrace the fact that you are a plural woman, meaning you part of a collective of women. You know, you're part of the collective divine feminine energy, and that you are a channel, a vessel for which this energy can flow. All right. And if you're wondering if what is your role that you play on this planet, what's your healing? Um, you can start by connecting with nature, um, and learning what's your family lines, what family, what tribe you come from. You know, what tribe? What's your healing? What's your healing modality? I keep hearing that spirit saying, say healing modality. What what's your medicine? You know, and in the medicine meaning, how do you, I'm hearing transmute. How do you transmute? What's your way of transmuting the negative energy um, on the planet? How do you transmute that? That's the medicine. What's your modality of that? How do you do that? And if you connect to your family, you'll learn your heritage. You'll learn, and I'm saying connect. When I mean that, like say, for instance, on a big scale, it would be um, you got doctors, you got nurses, you got um janitors, you got trash people, you got teachers, you know, elementary, it's broken down. So wherever you are, if we're looking at as far as a collective, wherever you are, what is your healing in that? How do you heal through that with that? How do you transmute the negative energy? You know, what's your medicine? How do you know what I'm saying? And if you're looking at it from your actual bloodline, because everything is a micro and a macro, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at it from, if you want to go a little even deeper and discover what's your bloodline, um, what what are the let me see, what is your bloodline connected to? What have some of the heritage? What's the heritage of your blood, your family's bloodline that you possibly have been born into? For instance, I come from a family of shamans, bloodline of shamans. So I know that's part of my heritage. So the more I connect to that, um, then my medicine is, and I can tap into that. That's my healing modality. And I connect to my medicine a little bit more. I can hone into my medicine a little bit more. All right. So anyway, and Coyote Totem. I'm gonna keep y'all no further. Coyote Totem. It says, show humor and laughter is your medicine. I feel like as a collective, and again, because this is a collective read, one thing to keep in mind, because I'm not really saying that humor is everybody's medicine. Well, no, I mean, like, I just think that spirit is with this totem, with this card right here. Spirit is saying, don't take things so serious. Have some fun, man. Life is not meant to be morbid. It is not to be meant to be all work and no play. Enjoy your life. Spirit wants us to enjoy our lives. Learning doesn't have to be hard. Healing doesn't have to be hard. This journey, this walk on the planet doesn't have to be hard. Buddha say, choose your suffering. You know what I'm saying? You can either choose to see it, and I'm just gonna sum it up. You can either choose to see it half full, half empty. You know what I'm saying? It's all about your perspective. You have to laugh at your pain. You have to. And that's one way you can transmute energy. Because remember, I said, um, that's what we're here to do: transmute the negativity on the planet. And one way to transmute, that I know for sure, is, first of all, number one, going back to the book, ask yourself, number one, so you can neutralize the energy. That's the first thing you can do when you are faced with adversity. Ask yourself, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning from this situation? That stops everything in its track right there. And the moment that the truth is revealed to you, or a glimmer of truth is revealed to you, all right, move forward. But then also, eventually, to heal it, you have to be able to look at it and laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? As if that's all you got. That's all you got. You got to laugh at it. That's one way to transmute things. If you can find a reason to laugh at a prior mistake, or laugh at something that you have released and no longer serves you, that is a surefire way of transmuting. All right. So I'm not going to hold y'all up all day. I don't even feel like I need to go any further with anything. I'm going to do I'm gonna do an angel number. Some angel numbers. And maybe perhaps, if you see these angel numbers over the next few days, maybe look it up. Maybe it's or maybe you've already been seeing these numbers. It's a code. That's a codex. We like to say angel numbers. If you see these numbers all the time around you, start paying attention to the numbers. Okay, I just got something. I'm gonna put that out here before I finish my statement. Start paying attention to the numbers that you see on a day-to-day, so you can understand your frequency. We'll speak more on that later on, but you have a frequency that you emit, and there are certain numbers that correlate with your frequency. All right. So start paying attention to that. If you always look up and it's a certain set of numbers that you resonate with, it'll start showing up in your life all the time. I started paying attention to that stuff. I was young, but I hear you, Spirit. I think I actually wrote a little book on it, but okay, Spirit one of that came out anyway. All right, so here's the thing. It says, like I say, start paying attention to these numbers. This is what came out. It says willpower 1818. Now, not saying that you're gonna see 1818, but you may see 18 a lot, whatever. But 1818, these are the cards that came out for this reading. It says achievements, success, striving forward, prosperity, go-getters, courage with the lion, courage, Leo, and luck. All right. It says, wow, significant events are on the cards for you. You will progress in your endeavors and gain new experiences. Hey, yeah, okay. Experiences. We talked about experiences. You know, don't let your past pain hold you back. You know, use tap into, you know, tap into your plural woman, or you know, tap into your healing. Find what's your healing. How do you heal from past pain? You know what I'm saying? You can do some of the things I just spoke on, but you know, like I said, these experiences, we have to get past the old ones in order to get new ones. You know, you don't want, it's already, the experience you just had, it's already unhealed. So you can't send it back to which, from which it came, until you heal it for yourself and your tribe, your bloodline. Okay. So it says, you will progress in your endeavors and gain new experiences. The right people and resources will be put on your path. An excellent proposal or change is coming up. You are destined for greatness. All right. And it says, 0505, unexpected shift. It says divine intervention, sudden changes, love, pleasant surprises, gut feeling. It says, hey, this number serves as a gentle nudge to pursue whatever interests you most. It's possible that something could rock your boat, but you'll end up exactly where you belong, which could be in somebody's arms, your dream job, abroad, etc. Now, again, it goes back to those new experiences. Um, and what it says, it's possible that something could rock your boat. You know, and I'm thinking it's just really trying to say changes will, nothing is meant to stay the same. So if you're trying to hold on to, um, well, change is inevitable. So get with the program, basically. You know, see the situation for what it is. It is a teacher. It is not your enemy. It's not personal. This is business. You know what I'm saying? This is business for the planet. Um, and uh, for souls to move forward. You know what I'm saying? We are meant to move forward, not stay stuck and stagnant and dumb shit. All right. So it says 0505. And this is a time, I'm noticing there's a lot of fives up here. This is a time for a lot of changes. Fives are represent like changes happening around you. You know what I'm saying? On outside of you. You know, the world is changing and it's gonna move forward regardless if you're gonna get on board or not. But here's the thing, you don't want to get ran. I just heard Ludacris get ran the fuck over. You know what I'm saying? It's like move, be get out the way. Like, do is you for us or against us? And when you say for us or against us, you are part of the us. So don't bury yourself. All right. Don't martyr yourself. Don't just lay down in some bullshit. Get up and fight. Fight for your right to be here. You know, you have a job to do. Get with the program. All right. So it says 0550. The eye candy, intuition, inspired action, beauty, art, socialization, flow, potential, romance. Get some fresh air or call some of your pals over. And it speaks about your tribe. The tribe. You know, we're being asked again as a collective. It's time out for uh envy and jealousy, and we were pitted against each other, um because together we are strong. So I don't know why this seed, well, I do know this, a seed was planted long ago for us to be wrestling over some crumbs, bite back, what is it, backstabbing and each other, for crumbs when we can have a whole pie. You understand? So we're being asked as a collective to put that bullshit aside, because we are a plural woman. I am you and you are me. And it's time that we start working to collectively as the mothers, uh, as a part of the divine feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? Uh, to work together, because and get in the flow. Come together, get your social groups together, and I ain't saying be exclusive, because that shit is crazy too, you know. But find your tribe, get together with like minds, and find ways that you all can heal, and do work together, and so we could upload some goodness and help the planet and the souls, the collective soul journey, be better for the next generation. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. One last card. Yeah, it says 0330, and this is threes are creation. All right, and it says lucky shirt, love, peace, hope, and optimism, transferring responsibility to others, progress, creativity. It says pursue your goals and get what you want. All right. It says it will provide wonderful benefits for you and the people you hold dear. Your ability to communicate is improving at this time, which will make it easier for you to interact with a broad spectrum of individuals. Again, that's speaking on your soul tribe, man.